Welcome to Channel X TV, sponsored by Volo. I'm delighted to be joined by Jorrit today from ChannelEngine. And ChannelEngine, one of the world's biggest e-commerce platforms, with offices around the world, with also some exciting news to share. But before we get into that, welcome, Jorrit. How are you?
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Chris. Doing great. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. So there's two things I want to talk about today. The first is your recent acquisition of retail data partners, who have an Amazon vendor solution, which I hear is second to none. But also, I want to talk a bit about Amazon vendor and who should use it, when should you use it, when should you go first party with Amazon, when should you go third party with Amazon. But first of all, Amazon vendor, it's something that is underserved by a lot of e-commerce management companies. Everyone deals with the third party side, but not so many deal with the first party side. So tell us about the acquisition and what retail data partners is going to enable ChannelEngine to do.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, ChannelEngine has been focused on 3P for a very long time as well. And a lot of our customers are brands and are brands that are moving to the marketplace side of the business. But what we notice is they also have a big chunk of their business going through 1P or the vendor model. And I always advise to do both. So if you're in a lucky position as a brand and you want these orders coming in from Amazon, just accept these orders. Purchase orders coming in can be a blessing, but it can be a curse as well, as everybody knows who's selling on vendor. It's easy. You can just ship your pallets, B2B orders to Amazon. They do the rest, but it's also prone to a lot of discussions. And we've seen in our customers that typically not all of their assortment is bought by Amazon. So that means part of it is being sold, or they have the opportunity to sell it on the 3P marketplace. Gives them some more flexibility, but you really want to automate and balance them all. As we have been automating a lot on the 3P side, and customers are super happy with that, and there is a big demand on automating for 1P as well. So a couple of months ago, we launched 1P vendor content, which makes a lot of sense for our customers. And doing many interviews, we found out that there are so many challenges ongoing with 1P, and 1P is not going away for a while, especially with brands. So we decided to investigate further, found a great company called Retail Data Partners that developed a lot of insights and technologies and functionalities that we can leverage for our customers and integrate into our solution. So we announced the acquisition last week. So happy to share some more information about that.
Yeah, so exciting times. And tell us, what are retail data partners' what made them special for you? Is it their technology? Is it their customer base? What are they doing differently to other companies that made them so attractive?
It's both their technology that they developed over time, because they came out of an agency side where they managed 1P vendor accounts for customers. And they were missing a lot of data because Amazon doesn't give all the data through API or reports, and then stitching it together to give a full insight, and actionable insights are important. Giving insight into how the reviews are doing, but also there are so many other aspects of vendor management that can benefit from automation. One of them is dispute automation. So there are a lot of disputes where you can send 1,000 items to Amazon, and Amazon says, "No, we only received 950, and it's up to you to prove that you sent 1,000." So you have to gather a lot of information, send it to them. That whole process is now being automated, which means you can claim back the money that actually Amazon owes you. So these kind of functionalities are in this platform, making sure we can monitor the content we send to Amazon. So they've got solutions in place where you can basically compare what is online on the front end to what we send to the back end. So lots of innovative solutions that are there that we can utilize for our customers.
So let's talk the difference between Amazon vendor and third party selling on Amazon. You've mentioned one major difference already, which is you may have a first-party relationship with Amazon, but they may not want to stock all of your product. What are the other advantages of both vendor and third-party selling?
Yeah, so first of all, I would say as a brand, you want to be in control and be able to do both, because you don't want to just rely on being a vendor of Amazon. We've seen it, especially with mid-sized brands, that all of a sudden they didn't get any purchase orders anymore, or they lost their vendor manager, and that gives them a lot of issues. Because if you don't have 3P, the marketplace side in place, by then, basically all your revenue stops on Amazon. So you need to become independent, need to become flexible. So what I always advise, if you are already a vendor of Amazon, just start at a 3P seller journey as well. Make sure that you have that route to market. As soon as the purchase orders dry up, you can just open up those floodgates and keep on selling. The advantages of 1P is relatively simple. You get a purchase order, you can ship it. So B2B companies and brands are used to it. It's relatively simple, but then the downside can be renegotiations by Amazon. It's not as simple as when you send it to another retail customer, because Amazon has a lot of demands. You have to ship on time, you have to ship accurately, otherwise you get penalties and fees and stuff like that. So if you don't have full insights and full automation there, you run some risk as well. The advantage of 3P is that you have full flexibility on what you're selling, when you're selling it. If you have a new catalog, you can determine when it's online, what the availability is, what prices you set, etc. The disadvantage is that you need to have your direct-to-consumer operations in place. So relatively easy if you use fulfillment by Amazon, if you have your own merchant fulfillment or a combination thereof, if you manage multiple platforms. You also need some automation in place, but both have some pros and cons.
Yeah, I think something you've just mentioned is really interesting, which is control of price, because obviously when you're selling through an Amazon vendor, you've sold the product to Amazon, and if they want to cut the price and have a discount, they can. But
they will.
With third-party selling, you can maintain the same price on Amazon, your website, your other channels, but it becomes a real balance. So, how do you suggest that a company approaches the hybrid selling strategy, where they embrace both 1P and they sell direct and just ship pallets to Amazon, but also have the third party for products that Amazon aren't carrying? And would you suggest they use fulfillment by Amazon, or would you suggest they do use their own fulfillment warehouses for direct to consumer retail?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the situation. I would always recommend starting to sell the items that Amazon doesn't carry already. So you can get that route to market. You can utilize your own warehouse, which you might be using for your Shopify store or your direct-to-consumer store. If you want to sell more, typically if you use FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, that gets prioritized in their algorithm. Gets prioritized in the winning the buy box, but it's not always the case, because if Prime Day comes along or Black Friday comes along, they change the algorithm. So if you don't have your own inventory in your warehouses or in a third-party logistics provider as well, then you could be missing out. So really balancing the two, making sure you can shift from one to the other is essential. What you can also do, and I see that with a lot of brands, is whatever Amazon buys as a purchase order, it will never be fully accurate. So they might run out of stock. So what you can utilize 3P for is backfilling of your inventory. They can use size filling. So for instance, if you're selling shoes in different sizes, maybe Amazon only buys the fast moving sizes, and then the other sizes you want to sell as well. So you can put those very large, very small sizes on the marketplace as 3P. So you can have a full customer experience on your brand on Amazon.
Now, this is really interesting, but it also begs the question of how do you build your Amazon strategy alongside your other channels? And I know this is something ChannelEngine specialize in. You've got hundreds, if not thousands, of channels you can enable a brand to sell on. So how should the Amazon strategy sit alongside those other channels?
Yeah, so for me, it all comes down to being in control as a brand. So in total, we connect more than 950 channels at the moment. And these are large channels like Amazon, like eBay, like Walmart, but also super niche, very focused channels. I think it's most important that you can serve all these channels with a small team. And then you decide what you're going to sell on which platform, and you can shift between the two. So even if you're in discussions with any of your resellers, marketplaces, you can either switch them off and not fully rely on that as a channel itself, and then benefit from the other channels. You can leverage your own logistics, so your maybe your own 3PL or your own warehouse to sell both on Amazon as well as on your D2C shop as well as on other marketplaces at the same time. And you can even mix it up with some fast movers in Fulfillment by Amazon or Walmart fulfillment services, or if you're in fashion or apparel, you can do Zalando fulfillment services or any of the other channel fulfilled platforms.
But this is obviously fantastic news for brands that maybe already selling on Amazon or want to start selling on Amazon. So where should they go for more information? And if they want to sell more information on selling as a vendor, should they go to retail data partners, or should they go direct to ChannelEngine? How do they get hold of you?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether you connect to retail data partners or ChannelEngine. It's now one big family. So just check out the site. Most information is still to be launched on our joint solution. So if you go to channelengine.com, reach out to someone in our team. You can follow us on LinkedIn as well. And we have a blog with lots of posts also on hybrid selling, on vendor management, etc. And way more is coming up in the next couple of months. So follow us on social media and reach out.
Yeah. And we'll put the links below, just beneath this video. But I want to thank you so much for your time today, especially as I know you're on holiday with your family at the moment. But thanks for spending the time with ChannelX TV to tell us about the Retail Data Partners acquisition.
Happy to do so. Thanks for having me, Chris.